so it should be between square brackets here. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim should be between square brackets. If you're reading, we can do the first two chapters together then, inshallah. Bismillah.
أبواب الحج عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. باب ما جاء في حرمة مكة. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد حدثنا الليث بن سعد عن سعيد بن أبي سعيد المقبري عن أبي شريح العدوي أنه قال لعمرو بن سعيد وهو يبعث البعوث إلى مكة. I can't see this right here. أذن لي أن أيها الأمير أحدثك قولا قام به رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الغد من يوم الفتح سمعته أذني ووعاه قلبي وأبصرته عناي حين تكلم به أنه حمد الله وأثنى عليه ثم قال إن مكة حرمها الله تعالى ولم يحرمها الناس ولا يحل لامرئ يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر أن يسفك فيها دما أو يعبد بها شجرة فإن أحد ترخص بقتال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فيها فقولوا له إن الله أذن لرسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم ولم يأذن لك وإنما أذن لي فيه ساعة من النهار وقد عادت حرمتها اليوم كحرمتها بالأمس وليبلغ الشاهد الغائب. فقيل لأبي شريح ما قال لك عمرو بن سعيد؟ قال أنا أعلم منك بذلك يا أبا شريح إن الحرام لا يعيد عاصيا ولا فارا بدم ولا فارا بخربة. قال أبو عيسى ويروى ولا فارا بخزية. قال وفي الباب عن أبي هريرة وابن عباس. قال أبو عيسى حديث أبي شريح حديث حسن صحيح وأبو شريح الخزاعي اسمه خويلد بن عمرو وهو العدوي وهو كعبي ومعنى قوله ولا فارا بخربة يعني جنابة يقول من جنى جنابة أو أصاب دما ثم جاء إلى جزاك الله خير. عفوا شيخ. ولا فارا بخربة يعني جناية يقول من جنى جناية أو أصاب دما ثم جاء إلى حرم فإنه يقام عليه الحد. باب ما جاء في ثواب الحج والعمرة. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد وأبو سعيد الأشج قال حدثنا أبو خالد الأحمر عن عمرو بن قيس عن عاصم عن شقيق عن عبد الله بن مسعود قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تابعوا بين الحج والعمرة فإنهما ينفيان الفقر والذنوب كما ينفي الكير الخبث الحديد والذهب والفضة وليس للحجة المبرورة ثواب إلا الجنة. قال وفي الباب عن عمر وعامر بن ربيعة وأبي هريرة وعبد الله بن الحبشي وأم سلمة وجابر. قال أبو عيسى حديث ابن مسعود حديث حسن صحيح غريب من حديث عبد الله بن مسعود. حدثنا ابن أبي عمر حدثنا سفيان بن عيينة عن منصور عن أبي حازم عن أبي هريرة قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من حج فلم يرفث ولم يفسق غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. قال أبو عيسى حديث أبي هريرة حديث حسن صحيح وأبو حازم كوفي وهو أشجعي واسمه سلمان مولى عزة الأشجعية. Go ahead, Abu Mahmoud.
The chapters on Al-Hajj from Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and most of al-Kutub al-Sitta they call it Kitab al-Hajj or Kitab al-Manasik, the rites, the book of the rites. In the Tirmithi's custom is to say Abwaab, the chapters of, instead of Kitab. This hadith was recorded by Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Nasa'i, Ahmed, and others. Taubah bin Sa'id narrated the chapter what came regarding the sacredness of Mecca. Hurmati Mecca, the sacredness of Mecca. Taubah bin Sa'id narrated to us, Laith bin Sa'id narrated to us from Sa'id bin Abi Aruba al-Maqbari, from Sa'id bin Abi Sa'id al-Maqbari, from Abu Shaykh al-Adawi, that he said to Amr bin Sa'id while he was sending dispatchment to Mecca. Amr bin Sa'id was a commander for Abdul Malik bin Marwan. He was sending dispatchments to attack Abdullah ibn Zubair in Mecca. He said, permit for me, O commander, that I narrate to you a saying that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam established it on the morning of the day of the conquest, or he said it on the day of the conquest. I heard it with my 2 ears, and I preserved it with my heart, and I saw him saying it with my 2 eyes when he said it. Indeed, he praised Allah, and then he multiplied praises upon him. Then he said, indeed, Mecca was made a sanctuary by Allah Ta'ala, and it was not made a sanctuary by the people. And it is not permissible for a man who believes in Allah and the last day to shed in it any blood, or to delimb from it any. Shajra means bush, it means trees, and the meaning is to cut down or cut some off of some of the trees or bushes. Then, if one tries to make it a license or permission because of the fighting of Allah's Messenger in it, then say to him, and it's plural, all of you say to him, that indeed Allah permitted for His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and He did not permit it for you. And then he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it was only allowed for me, permitted for me, for an hour of a day, meaning a period of time of a day, and it returned into its sacredness, like the day that it was made sacred, like the sacredness yesterday. And let the one who is witness convey to the one who is absent. So it was said to Abu Shuraih when he narrated this, what did Amr bin Sa'id say to you? He said that Amr said, he's Amr bin Sa'id bin al-As, min Bani Umayyah. And as I said, he was a commander under the authority of Abdul Malik bin Marwan. and then they say that he sought to be the Khalifa, and he was killed by Abdul Malik bin Marwan later. He said, I am more knowledgeable than you are of that, O Abu Shurayh. Indeed, the sanctuary does not give protection. Yu'idhu, from when you say A'udhu billahi, I seek protection, I seek refuge in Allah. It does not give refuge or protection for a disobedient, nor one who is fleeing from shedding blood, nor one who is fleeing from kharba. And he explains kharba means an act of criminality. And he said, it's been related, nor fleeing from khizya, which would mean an atrocity. And he said there's something on this topic from Abu Hurairah and Ibn Abbas. And kharba and khizya, you can see the way they're written. It could be tashif, that some of them narrated khizya when it's really kharba, because of the zay instead of a ra and the ya instead of a ba. And this is common in when copying manuscripts, that a person will misread what was written. They didn't always use dots when they wrote the text. He said the Hadith of Abu Shurayh is a Hasan Sahih Hadith, and Abu Shurayh al-Khuzai, his name is Khalyl bin Amr, and he is al-Adawi, and he is al-Ka'abi. And the meaning of his saying, and do not, and nor the one who was fleeing from Kharba, means criminality. It is said whoever commits a crime or strikes some blood, meaning sheds some blood, then he goes to the haram, that the had legal punishment is to be established upon him, meaning even if he's in the haram. He said the chapter, what came regarding the virtues of the rewards of Hajj and Umrah. And this hadith was recorded by An-Nasai and Ahmed and others, and it was graded Hasan and Sahih by Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah, in his terminology in the Sunan books. He means that the chain is Hasan and the hadith is Sahih, due to other chains. Qutayba bin Sa'id and Abu Sa'id al-Ashaj narrated to us, the two of them said, Abu Khalid al-Ahmar narrated to us from Amr bin Qais, from Asim, from Shaykh, from Abdullah ibn Masud. He said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Tabi'u bain al-Hajji wa Umrah, which means follow between al-Hajj and Umrah, meaning perform one after the other. So I translate as alternate between Hajj and Umrah. For indeed, the two of them remove or negate poverty and sins. Yanfiyan from Nafi. Nafi is a negation. So they remove poverty and sins, just as the bellows, al-kiru, the bellows that the blacksmith uses, removes filth from iron, gold, and silver. And there is not for the Hajj that is mabrura, which is understood to mean the accepted Hajj, a reward except for paradise. So there's nothing in reward for aside from paradise for the person who performs the accepted Hajj. He said there's something on this topic from Umar, Amr bin Rabi'a, Abu Hurairah, Abdullah ibn Hubshi, Salama, and Jabir. He said the hadith of Ibn Masud is a Hasan Sahih Gharib hadith, as a hadith of Abdullah ibn Masud, meaning it's Gharib from Asim bin Shaqiq from Abdullah ibn Masud. Ibn Abi Umar, Muhammad ibn Abi Umar al-Adni, was the author of a Musnad that is lost to us today. We only know of the hadiths that were in it from the Zawaid collections, Al-Matalib al-Aliyah by Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, and Ithaf al-Khayra by Al-Busiri. And they have the hadiths that are in these Masanid that are not in Al-Kutub al-Sitta, about 10 or 11 Musnad collections, the hadiths that are in them that are not in Al-Kutub al-Sitta. A number of those Musnad collections we do have, but some of them are lost to us, like the text of Ibn Abi Umar. His book on Al-Iman, which we'll mention in the next chapter, inshallah, is published. We do have that book, the book of Ibn Abi Umar al-Adni on Al-Iman. He He said, Sufyan bin Uyayna narrated to us from Mansur, from Abu Hazim, from Abu Hurairah. He said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever performs Hajj and he does not yarfuth, is commit something of a lewd act, meaning he does not have intercourse with his partner, his wife, and he does not commit fisk, which is open sin, and that then forgiven for him is what proceeded of his sins. This hadith is recorded by Al-Bukhari and Muslim, and Nasai ibn Majah, Ahmed, and others. He said the hadith of Abu Hurairah is a Hasan Sahih hadith, and Abu Hazim is from Kufa. He's Kufiyun, he's from Al-Kufa, and he is Al-Ashja'i, and his name is Salman, and he is a freed slave of Azat al-Ashja'iyya. So he's called Al-Ashja'i, that's his last name, because he was a freed slave of Azza from the tribe of Al-Ashajja. Alright, let's do the next two chapters together as well, inshallah. Bismillah. Mahmoud, are you present?
He is. I see him there. I don't know why he's not speaking. I'll read it. No, I got it. Yes, but you're very low. You got to speak up loud.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go.
After 8. نعم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. باب ما جاء من التغليظ في ترك الحج. حدثنا محمد بن يحيى القطعي البصري. حدثنا مسلم بن إبراهيم. حدثنا هلال بن عبد الله مولى ربيعة بن عمرو بن مسلم الباهلي. حدثنا أبو إسحاق الحمداني عن الحارث عن علي قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من ملك زادا وراحلة تبلغه إلى بيت الله ولم يحج فلا عليه أن يموت يهوديا أو نصرانيا وذلك أن الله يقول في كتابه ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. قال أبو عيسى هذا حديث غريب لا نعرفه إلا من هذا الوجه وفي إسناده مقال وهلال بن عبد الله مجهول والحارث يضعف في الحديث. باب ما جاء في إيجاب الحج بالزاد والراحلة. حدثنا يوسف بن عيسى حدثنا وكيع حدثنا إبراهيم بن يزيد عن محمد بن عباد بن جعفر عن ابن عمر قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله ما يوجب الحج؟ قال الزاد والراحلة. قال أبو عيسى هذا حديث حسن والعمل عليه عند أهل العلم أن الرجل إذا ملك زادا وراحلة ووجب عليه الحج وراحلة وجب عليه الحج. وإبراهيم هو ابن يزيد الخوزي المكي قد تكلم فيه بعض أهل العلم من قبل حفظه.
Jazakallah khair. Chapter came regarding the taqleed, the severity. Taqleed means thickening. That something that is taqleed is something that is thick. It's used here by Tirmithi and other scholars name chapters with this term, taqleed. Fi something means the severity of meaning the text that stress the severity of something, of avoiding al-Hajj. Now this hadith was graded weak by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. It's recorded by al-Bazar and as Musad ibn Adi in al-Kamil fi Du'afa and al-Uqayli in Rafa al-Kabir, and others. He said Muhammad bin Yahya al-Quta'i al-Basri narrated to us, Muslim bin Ibrahim narrated to us, Hilal bin Abdullah, the Mawla of Rabi'a bin Amr bin Muslim al-Bahili narrated to us, Abu Ishaq al-Hamdani narrated to us from al-Harith from Ali. He said Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever possesses the provisions and the ride, rahila, a mount to ride, a means of conveyance, that will bring him to the house of Allah, and he does not perform Hajj, then it does not matter that he died a Jew or a Christian. And that is because of Allah saying in His book, for Allah is upon the people to perform Hajj to the house, whoever is able to bear the journey. He said, this hadith is gharib, we do not know of it except from this route, and in its chain is one who is criticized. And Khalyl means one who is spoken of, person, meaning one who has been criticized. And Hilal bin Abdullah is majhul, unknown his status. And al-Harith was graded weak by the people of Hadeeth, and they say worse than that about al-Harith, that he was a liar. And this he said, we don't know of it except from this route, meaning it's a hadith of Abu Ishaq from al-Harith from Ali. And Abu Ishaq is the Sabi'i who became confused later in life, and he narrates a lot of hadiths from al-Harith from Ali. And they say, in regard to Ilm al-Rijal, that he narrates a lot of hadiths that he actually didn't even hear from al-Harith. And then, of course, al-Harith is accused of being a liar. Chapter came regarding the obligation of al-Hajj and the provisions what I wanted to mention for this chapter. There's a narration, you can see it in the Tafsir of Ibn Kathir that we translated at Darul, Volume 2, page 220 through 223. Somewhere in there is 222 or something like that. Narration from Omar that's recorded by Abu Nu'aym in Hilyat al-Awliya and by Ibn Abi Omar al-Adani in Kitab al-Iman and al-Bayhaqi in Shu'ab al-Iman and others, that Omar said whoever is able to perform Hajj and does not matter if he dies a Jew or a Christian. And there is more than one who narrated it from Omar. So it is at least Hassan that Omar said that. And what is apparent from that is while he was the Khalifa, that he was saying that whoever is, and he was, he ruled as Sham as well as Al-Hijaz. He said any Muslim that is able to perform Hajj and did not, it doesn't matter if he were to die, or meaning is that he considered it a kind of kufr, because the person is abandoning the pillar of Islam. What came regarding the obligation of Hajj by the provisions and the mount, meaning having the provisions for the journey and a means of conveyance. This hadith was graded da'ifun jiddan by Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah. It's recorded by Ibn Majah and others. Yusuf bin Isa narrated to us, Waqiyah narrated to us from Ibrahim bin Yazid, from Muhammad bin Abbad bin Ja'far, from Ibn Umar. He said, a man came to the Prophet ﷺ, so he said, O Allah's Messenger, what makes Hajj obligatory? He said, the provisions and the means of conveyance, or the mount to ride. He said, this hadith is Hasan, and it is acted upon according to the people of knowledge, that the man, when he possesses the provisions and the means of conveyance, it's obligatory upon him to perform Hajj. This is established based on the ayah in the Quran, what Allah said. So whoever is able to bear the journey, and that requires him having enough food for the journey and provisions that he needs to travel the journey and the means to get there. And Ibrahim bin Yazid is al-Qawzi, al-Makki, and he has been criticized by some of the people of Hadith due to his memory. So we mentioned the Hadith is a very weak Hadith, but the meaning of the Hadith is Sahih based on what is in the Quran. Type, let's do the next two chapters together, chapter 5 and 6, inshallah.
بارك الله فيكم شيخنا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. باب ما جاء كم فرض الحج. حدثنا أبو سعيد الأشج حدثنا منصور بن وردان كوفي عن علي بن عبد الأعلى عن أبيه عن أبي البختري عن علي بن أبي طالب قال لما نزلت ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا قالوا يا رسول الله أفي كل عام فسكت فقالوا يا رسول الله في كل عام قال لا ولو قلت نعم لوجبت فأنزل الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبد لكم تسؤكم. وفي الباب عن ابن عباس وأبي هريرة قال أبو عيسى حديث حسن غريب من هذا الوجه واسم أبي البختري سعيد بن أبي عمران وهو سعيد بن فيروز. باب ما جاء كم حج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. حدثنا عبد الله ابن أبي زياد الكوفي حدثنا زيد بن حباب عن سفيان عن جعفر بن محمد عن أبيه عن جابر بن عبد الله أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حج 3 حجج حجتين قبل أن يهاجر وحجة بعدما هاجر ومعها عمرة فساق 63 بدنة وجاء علي من اليمن ببقيتها فيها جمل لأبي جهل في أنفه برة من فضة فنحرها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من كل بدنة ببضعة فطبخت وشرب من مرقها. قال أبو عيسى هذا حديث غريب من حديث سفيان أنا أعرفه إلا من حديث زيد بن حباب ورأيت عبد الله بن عبد الرحمن روى هذا الحديث في كتبه عن عبد الله بن أبي زياد قال وسألت محمدا عن هذا فلم يعرفه من حديث الثوري عن جعفر عن أبيه عن جابر عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ورأيته لا يعد هذا الحديث محفوظا وقال إنما يروى عن الثوري عن أبي إسحاق عن مجاهد مرسل. حدثنا إسحاق بن منصور حدثنا حبان بن هلال حدثنا همام حدثنا قتادة قال قلت لأنس بن مالك كم حج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال حجة واحدة واعتمر 4 عمرة في ذي القعدة وعمرة الحديبية وعمرة مع حجته وعمرة الجعران إذ قسم غنيمة حنين. قال أبو عيسى هذا حديث حسن صحيح وحبان بن هلال هو أبو حبيب البصري جليل ثقة وثقه يحيى بن سعيد القطان.
The chapter we came, how many hajjs are obligatory? How many? For the hajj has made obligatory. Now this hadith is weak, but the meaning of it has been narrated by others, and the meaning is recorded by Al-Bukhari and Muslim as well. Abu Sa'id and Al-Ashaj narrated to us. Mansur bin Wardan narrated to us. This one is recorded by Ahmed and Ibn Majah and others. He said Abu Sa'id and Al-Ashaj narrated to us. Mansur bin Wardan from Kufa, Kufiyun, he is from Al-Kufa, narrated to us from Ali bin Abdul A'la, from his father, from Abu al-Bakhtari, from Ali bin Abi Talib. He said, when the ayat was revealed, and to Allah is upon the people Hajj to the house, whoever is able to bear the journey. They said, O Allah's Messenger, is it obligatory every year? So he was silent. And then they said, O Allah's Messenger, is it obligatory in every year? He said, no. And if I were to say yes, then it would become obligatory. And then Allah revealed the ayat, O you who believe, do not ask about matters that if they were made plain to you, that would cause you some trouble. There's something on this topic from Ibn Abbas and Abu Hurairah, and the hadith about Abu Hurairah is Sahih, and in it the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَمَرْتُكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ فَخُذُوا مِنْهُ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. When I order you with something, then take from it what you're capable of doing. Do what you're capable of doing of it. وَإِذَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ عَنْ شَيْءٍ, and when I prohibit you from something, فَانْتَهُوا, then stop it. So the order to the prohibition of something, and stop it. And when I order you, you do as much as you're capable. Meaning, the obligation to do an action is only based on the ability to do it. The person, if he's not capable of doing it, then he's not going to be held accountable to Allah. But the prohibition of a thing doesn't require capability. It means you just don't do it, period. So there's no, I am sinning, but I'm not capable of stopping. No, either nahaytukum an shay fantahu. When I prohibit you from something, then stop it. So this hadith is narrated in the beginning of Sunan ibn Majah and Kitab al-Sunnah, and it is the same hadith, this occasion when the ayat was revealed, and they said to him, is it obligatory every year, O Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And then he said, when if I were to have said yes, it will be obligatory. When I order you with something, then do what you're capable of it. As I just told you that Allah ordered you to perform Hajj if you're able to bear the journey. And when I prohibit you from something, then stop it. He said the hadith of Ali, this hadith is Hasanun Gharib from this route. And the name of Abu al-Bakhtari is Sa'id bin Abi Imran, and he is Sa'id bin Fayruz. And the Ali bin Abdul A'la al-Tha'labi, his father, is criticized, and I have gone through extent in the Musnad of Ali and Musnad al-Imam Ahmed over the narrations of Abdul A'la al-Tha'labi, and most of them have witnesses for them, even though he is criticized, and so there are a lot of details related to that. Then he said the chapter when it came regarding how many Hajjs did the Prophet ﷺ perform. In this hadith, it was recorded by Ibn Majah, and it was graded Sahih by Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah. Abdullah ibn Abi Ziyad al-Kufi narrated to us, Ziyad bin Hubab narrated to us from Sufyan, from Ja'far bin Muhammad, from his father, from Jabir bin Abdullah, that the Prophet ﷺ performed 3 Hajjs, 2 Hajjs before he made Hijrah, and a Hajj after he made Hijrah, and with it an Umrah. And he brought with him 63 Badna, meaning camels for sacrifice, and Ali came from Yemen with the remainder of them. And among those camels that the Prophet ﷺ sacrificed, was a camel that belonged to Abu Jahl. And in its nose, there was a ring made of silver. And Allah's Messenger ﷺ naharaha, he slaughtered them. And nahar for the camels means to poke them in the neck with a spear, or cut them in the neck, in the jugular vein, because they're too big to just do Dabih had. You can't just cut the neck of the animal because it's too big. They would be able to kill you. And Allah's Messenger ﷺ ordered that every that every one of the camels, a piece of it be cooked, and he drank from its broth, meaning that he collected some of the meat from all of the camels, and he drank from the broth of what was cooked from that meat. He said this hadith is gharib, as a hadith of Sufyan. We do not know it except as the narration of Zayd bin Hubab, meaning that Zayd bin Hubab is the only one that narrated this hadith from Sufyan with this chain. And I saw Abdullah ibn Abdurrahman reported this hadith in his book from Abdullah ibn Abi Ziyad. This is Abdullah ibn Abdurrahman is a Darimi. I saw that a Darimi reported this hadith in his book from Abdullah ibn Abi Ziyad. It was the same one that Tirmithi is narrating it from. And he said to Tirmithi, I asked Muhammad, meaning al-Bukhari, about this, and he did not know it as a hadith of Sufyan al-Thawri from Jafar, from his father, from Jabir, from the Prophet ﷺ. And I saw that he did not count this hadith as being preserved. And he said it's only been related from a Thawri, from Abu Ishaq, from Mujahid in morsel form. As I mentioned, the Shaykh Albani rahimahullah graded the hadith sahih. And the next hadith is recorded by Al-Bukhari and Muslim and others. Ishaq bin Mansur narrated to us, Habban bin Hilal narrated to us from Hammam, from Qatada. He said, I said to Anas bin Malik, how many Hajjs did the Prophet ﷺ perform? He said, one Hajj, and he performed Umrah 4 times. Umrah during the month of Dhul Qa'dah, and the Umrah of Al-Hudaybiyah, and the Umrah with his Hajj, and the Umrah from Al-Jirana, and when he divided the spoils of war from Hunayn, meaning on the way back from Hunayn, he performed Umrah from the Battle of Hunayn. And they say, Shafi says, and others, that Jir'ana does not have Shadda on the Ra. So the Ahl al-Hadith pronounce it with Shadda on the Ra, and the linguistic people say that it does not have Shadda on the Ra. And so the meaning of it is that the Prophet ﷺ performed Umrah after the Battle of Hunayn. And he said this hadith is Hasan Sahih, and Habban bin Hilal, he is Abu Habib al-Basri, Jalilun, he is a righteous person. Jalil means beautiful or majestic, some of these type of meanings. Trustworthy, and he was said to be trustworthy by Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan. Let's do the next 2 chapters together as well. Bismillah.
بارك الله فيكم. باب ما جاء كما اعتمر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. حدثنا قتيبة حدثنا داود بن عبد الرحمن العطار عن عمرو بن دينار عن إكرمة عن ابن عباس أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اعتمر 4 أمر: عمرة الحديبية، وعمرة الثانية من قابل، عمرة القصاص في ذي القعدة، وعمرة الثالثة من الجعرانة، ورابعة التي مع حجته. قال: وفي الباب عن أنس وعبد الله بن عمرو وابن عمر. قال أبو عيسى: حديث ابن عباس حديث حسن غريب. وروى ابن عيينة هذا الحديث عن عمرو بن دينار عن إكرمة أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اعتمر 4 عمر ولم يذكر فيه عن ابن عباس. قال: حدثنا بذلك سعيد بن عبد الرحمن المخزومي حدثنا سفيان بن عيينة عن عمرو بن دينار عن إكرمة أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فذكر نحوه. باب ما جاء في أي موضع أحرم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. حدثنا ابن أبي عمر حدثنا سفيان بن عيينة عن جعفر بن محمد عن أبيه عن جابر بن عبد الله قال: لما أراد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الحج أذن في الناس فاجتمعوا
فلما أتى البيداء أحرم. قال وفي الباب عن ابن عمر وأنس ومسور بن مخرمة. قال أبو عيسى حديث جابر حديث حسن صحيح. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد حدثنا حاتم بن إسماعيل عن موسى بن عقبة عن سالم بن عبد الله بن عمر عن ابن عمر قال البيداء التي تكذبون فيها على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم والله ما أحل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا من عند المسجد من عند الشجرة. قال أبو عيسى هذا حديث حسن صحيح.
also published, as well as a few others. And he said, Malik bin Anas narrated from Abdurrahman bin al-Qasim from his father, al-Qasim, from Aisha, that Allah's Messenger ﷺ performed Hajj by itself. Tirmithi said there's something on this topic from Jabir and Ibn Umar. Hadeeth was recorded by Al-Bukhari and Muslim and the rest of the six. He said the Hadith of Aisha is a Hasan Sahih Hadith, and this is acted upon according to some of the people with knowledge. It's been related from Ibn Umar that the Prophet ﷺ performed Hajj by itself. Abu Bakr performed Hajj by itself, and Omar and Uthman did as well. This was narrated to us by Qutayba, Abdurrahman bin Nafi Asaiq, and narrated to us from Ubaydullah ibn Umar, from Nafi, from Ibn Umar with this similar. And he said, Thawri said, if you perform Hajj by itself, then this is good, and if you do Qaring, then this is good, and if you do Tamattu, then this is good, meaning any of them are acceptable. And the Shafi said the same. And he said, what is most beloved to us is that he performed Al-Ifrad, Hajj by itself, then At-Tamattu is more beloved than Qiran, and then Al-Qiran he's saying, so Al-Ifrad is best, then Tamattu second, and then Al-Qiran third. This is the view of a Shafi, the statement of a Shafi. Now, what follows will have more related to this discussion. This is the first discussion of the type of Hajj to perform. And explain the reason for that. Inshallah, let's I'm concerned with the time. So I would like you to read both of these chapters. The second one is longer, but they're interrelated. So Bismillah.
نعم بارك الله فيكم. ما جاء في الجمع بين الحج والعمرة. حدثنا قتيبة حدثنا حماد بن زيد عن حميد عن أنس قال سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لبيك بعمرة وحجة. قال وفي الباب عن عمر وعمران بن حسين. قال أبو عيسى حديث أنس حديث حسن صحيح، وقد ذهب بعض أهل العلم إلى هذا واختاره من أهل الكوفة وغيرهم. باب ما جاء في التمتع. حدثنا أبو موسى محمد بن المثنى حدثنا عبد الله بن إدريس عن ليث عن طاووس عن ابن عباس قال تمتع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وأبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وأول من نهى عنه معاوية. في الباب عن علي وعثمان وجابر وسعد وأسماء ابنة أبي بكر وابن عمر. حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد عن مالك بن أنس بن أنس عن ابن شهاب عن محمد بن عبد الله بن الحارث بن نوفل أنه سمع سعد بن وقاص والضحاك بن قيس وهما يذكران التمتع بالعمرة إلى الحج. فقال الضحاك بن قيس لا يصنع ذلك إلا من جهل أمر الله تعالى. فقال سعد بئس ما قلت يا ابن أخي. فقال الضحاك بن قيس فإن عمر بن الخطاب قد نهى عن ذلك. فقال سعد قد صنعها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وصنعناها معه. قال فهذا حديث صحيح. حدثنا عبد بن حميد أخبرني يعقوب بن إبراهيم بن سعد حدثنا أبي عن صالح بن كيسان عن ابن شهاب أن السالم بن عبد الله حدثه أنه سمع رجلا من أهل الشام وهو يسأل عبد الله بن عمر عن التمتع بالعمرة إلى الحج. فقال عبد الله بن عمر هي حلال. فقال الشامي إن أباك قد نهى عنها. فقال عبد الله بن عمر أرأيت إن كان أبي نهى عنها وصنعها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أأمر أبي يتبع أم أمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ فقال الرجل بل أمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقال لقد صنعها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. هذا حديث حسن صحيح. قال أبو عيسى حديث ابن عباس حديث حسن، وقد اختار قوم من أهل العلم من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وغيرهم التمتع بالعمرة، والتمتع أن يدخل الرجل بعمرة في أشهر الحج ثم يقيم حتى يحج فهو متمتع، وعليه دم ما استيسر من الهدي، فإن لم يجد فصيام 3 أيام في الحج و7 إذا رجع إلى أهله. ويستحب للمتمتع إذا صام 3 أيام في الحج أن يصوم في العشر ويكون آخرها يوم عرفة، فإن لم يصوم في العشر صام أيام تشريق في قول بعض أهل العلم من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم منهم ابن عمر وعائشة، وبه يقول مالك والشافعي وأحمد وإسحاق. وقال بعضهم لا يصوم أيام تشريق وهو قول أهل الكوفة. قال أبو عيسى وأهل الحديث يختارون التمتع بالعمرة في الحج، وهو قول الشافعي وأحمد وإسحاق.
Of this is Qiran, performing both. David narrated to us, Hamad bin Zayd narrated to us from Humayd from Anas. He said, I heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, Labayk bi umratin wa hajjatin. Meaning, here I am at your beck and call, O Allah, for Hajj and Umrah. So this gives the implication that he performed them together. The hadith is reported by Muslim, Ibn Majah, and Nasa'i. Has a version of Ibn Musnad Ali, and there's something on this topic that's reported by Al-Bukhari. He said there's something on this topic from Omar, Imran bin Hussein, and Hadith of Anas as a Hasan Sahih Hadith, and some of the people of knowledge have gone to this. This is what was chosen by some of the people of Kufa and others. Chapter came regarding a tamat, which is perform Omar first and exit Ihram, and then perform Hajj on entering Ihram on the 8th of Dhul-Hijjah. Abu Musa Muhammad bin al-Muthani narrated to us, Abdullah bin Idris narrated to us from Laith, from Tawus, from Ibn Abbas. He said, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed tamattu, and Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman. The first who prohibited from this was Muawiyah. He said something on this topic from Ali and Uthman and Jabir, Sa'ad, Asma, the daughter of Abu Bakr, and Umar. This hadith was graded very weak by Shaykh al-Albani, ضعيف جدا. It is also reported by Ahmed. And then the next one, this is this hadith was graded ضعيف جدا, very weak by Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. And it's reported by Nasa'i. Qutayba bin Sa'id narrated to us, Malik bin Anas narrated to us from Ibn Shihab, from Muhammad bin Abdullah bin al-Harith bin Nawfal, that he heard Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas and Al-Haq bin Qais, and they were mentioning Tamattu with Umrah to Hajj, as I explained, Tamattu with Al-Haq bin Qais said, no one does this except an ignorant person of the order of an ignorant one of the commands of Allah Ta'ala. And Sa'ad said, horrible is what you said, O son of my brother. So the Haq bin Qais said, indeed, Umar bin al-Khattab prohibited from that, and Sa'ad said, and Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it, and we did it with him. He said this hadith is sahih, and the meaning of we did it with him is that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered it. He's started his talbiyah for Umrah and Hajj, and then he told the people, and he brought his hadi, he brought his bedmez with him, his animals for sacrifice. He told people that did not have animals to sacrifice to exit Ihram, to perform Umrah, and then exit Ihram and perform Hajj. So he ordered the people to perform Tamattu. And then the next hadith is rated Sahih by Shaykh al-Albani, rahimahullah. It's reported by Ahmed and Nasai and Al-Kubra. Abd bin Umayd narrated to us, Yaqub bin Ibrahim bin Sa'ad narrated to us, informed me from my father, narrated to us from Sayyid Salih bin Qaysan, from Ibn Shihab bin Salim bin Abdullah, narrated to him that he heard a man from the people of Sham, and he was asking Abdullah ibn Umar about the tamattu with Umar to Hajj. So Abdullah ibn Umar said it is lawful, and the man from Sham said, your father has prohibited it, Umar. And Abdullah said, do you think that my father prohibited from something that Allah's Messenger did? Are you ordered to follow the command of Allah's Messenger or the command of my father? The man said, rather the command of Allah's Messenger. So he said, and Allah's Messenger did it, meaning he ordered the people to do it. And this hadith is Sahih, that's what he said. He said the hadith of Ibn Abbas is a Hasan hadith, and it's the choice of the people, some people from the people of knowledge, from the companions of the Prophet others just perform tamattu. Tamattu is that the man enter Umrah in the month of Hajj, then he stays until he performs Hajj while he is mutamattu, and upon him is to offer sacrifice for what he is capable of acquiring of a hadi. If he does not find one, then he fasts 3 days during Hajj and 7 when he returns to his family. And it's recommended for the person performing tamattu when he fasts 3 days during the 3 days in Hajj, and he fasts then during the 10, that they be after Yom Arafah. And if he's not able to fast, does not fast in the 10 of the Hajj, then he fasts during the days of Tashriq. This is the saying of some of the people of knowledge, of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, among them including Omar and Aisha. This is the saying of Malik, Shafi, Ahmed, and Ishaq. Some of them said he does not fast during the days of the Tashriq, 3 days after Eid al-Adha. This is the saying of people of Kufa. And so the people of Hadeeth have chosen the tamattu with Umrah and Hajj together. This is the saying of Shafi, Ahmed, and Ishaq. I already quoted the detailed saying of Shafi on al-Ifrad and tamattu and al-Qiran. So the argument among the people of the narrations is that the Prophet ﷺ entered Ihram for Hajj and Umrah together because he had the hadi with him. And he told his companions that did not have the hadi to perform Umrah and then enter for Hajj, Ihram for Hajj on the day of Tarwiyah, meaning to perform tamattu. So because he ordered a tamattu, some of them say that he did it. And it was prohibited by Omar and Uthman because they believe that based on the ayah in the Quran, Allah ordered people to perform Hajj and Umrah to the house, meaning one and the other, meaning that they should continue to come with Umrah. So they should perform Hajj by itself, and then go regularly to Mecca for Umrah. And this is also good. So either way, it is correct. So this deals with the different categories of Hajj. If there are any questions, we can take them now. I apologize for remembering a bit.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. That ends the class for today.